that's who promised.
Well, I want to run out of here, so lady.
Johnny Depp has always been an enigma in Hollywood. A performer who oscillates between critically acclaimed masterpieces and box office oddities, he has cultivated an image of a rebellious outsider who plays by his own rules. For many of his collaborators, this unpredictability is part of his genius, a creative energy that makes every performance unique. Others, however, have found his approach difficult, his attitude frustrating, and his presence on set less than pleasant. His career has been peppered with professional conflicts, some minor, others career-altering. Tensions on film sets are nothing new, but when they involve a figure as scrutinized as Depp, they take on a life of their own. In some cases, friction has stemmed from artistic differences, in others, from clashing personalities.
A bunch of townspeople.
Tell me something. Why do you give a damn about what these narrow-minded villagers think?
Then there are the instances where professional grievances have given way to full-blown personal vendettas. The stories surrounding Depp's experience working with Angelina Jolie on The Tourist are a study in creative incompatibility. What was meant to be a suave European thriller ended up feeling oddly hollow, its leading pair struggling to ignite the spark the film desperately needed.
Would you rather have me smoking for real?
I would rather you be a man who did exactly as he pleased.
On set, Jolie was meticulous, preferring precision and control over the fluidity of improvisation. Depp, by contrast, thrives in chaos. Reports from the production described an uneasy atmosphere, with Depp feeling constricted by Jolie's preferences, and Jolie growing irritated with Depp's lack of discipline. He wasn't particularly interested in polishing his appearance to fit the romantic leading man mold the studio wanted, which reportedly led to her urging him to improve his grooming. The finished product bore the weight of their lack of synergy, and while neither spoke negatively about the experience in public, there was a conspicuous absence of warmth in their promotional interviews. Depp's most infamous on-set relationship, however, was with Amber Heard. Their professional connection, forged on the set of The Rum Diary, turned into a whirlwind romance that would eventually become a years-long legal battle.
Fast.
You want a little bet?
Bet about what?
Dominating tabloids and courtrooms in equal measure. It's rare for an actor's off-screen relationships to eclipse their artistic output to such an extreme degree, but the allegations, lawsuits, and counterclaims ensured that every aspect of their time together was dissected in minute detail. Heard accused Depp of domestic violence, while Depp maintained that he was the true victim. The subsequent court cases, including the high-profile defamation trial in Virginia, brought forward an avalanche of evidence, testimony, and disturbing recordings that left neither party unscathed.
That you were violent in that clip, correct?
Clearly I was having a bad time.
"I have lost everything," Depp remarked during the proceedings, a nod to the professional exile he faced as Hollywood distanced itself from the controversy. Studios dropped him from major projects, and the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, which had once been unthinkable without him, moved on. The toxicity of their personal and professional relationship became a cautionary tale of what happens when private turmoil collides with public scrutiny. Even in less volatile circumstances, Depp's relationships with co-stars haven't always been smooth. Orlando Bloom, his fellow Pirates of the Caribbean star, was the subject of some early skepticism from Depp, who reportedly found Bloom's performance uninspiring. To Depp, who had crafted Jack Sparrow as an erratic, boundary-pushing creation that tested the limits of Disney's patience, Bloom's straightforward portrayal of Will Turner was too conventional. He thought Bloom was too polished, too clean-cut, an insider revealed. Over time, the dynamic softened, and Bloom grew into his role with greater confidence.
I take this with a promise. I'll find a way to sever Jones's hold on you, and not rest until this blade pierces his heart.
Eventually, he spoke glowingly of Depp, calling him a mentor and an inspiration. Whatever early misgivings Depp may have had, they never developed into outright hostility. Kevin Costner, on the other hand, is someone Depp has reportedly never held in high regard. Though their careers never directly intersected, Depp has made no secret of his disdain for the Hollywood establishment, and Costner, with his string of big-budget leading roles and traditional star power, represented everything Depp sought to distance himself from. Johnny didn't respect that kind of fame, a former associate noted. Costner, who has always carried himself with a certain self-assurance, was unlikely to be bothered by Depp's lack of admiration, but the divide between their approaches to the industry was clear. Costner embraced the prestige of being a leading man, whereas Depp actively resisted it, preferring characters who were flawed, eccentric, or deliberately strange. Bruce Willis is another name that has surfaced in connection to Depp's less than enthusiastic professional opinions. Though they never worked closely together, there have been suggestions that Depp was dismissive of Willis's approach to acting. Depp's love for immersive, transformative roles stood in contrast to Willis's action hero persona, and it's said that Depp privately mocked the simplicity of his performances. Whether this ever escalated beyond casual disdain is unclear, but there's little evidence of mutual admiration between the two. Yet, of all the professional fallouts Depp has endured, none have been as publicly consequential as his severed relationship with Disney. For years, Depp was the heart of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, a role that cemented his status as a global star. His portrayal of Jack Sparrow was a masterclass in unpredictability.
Depends on the light.
Son, the fountain. There'll be items required for the profane ritual. 2 chalices.
A performance that risked alienating studio executives, but instead became a cultural touchstone. Then came the allegations, the lawsuits, and the decision by Disney to cut ties. Depp felt betrayed. Nothing on this earth, not even $300 million and a million alpacas, could make me go back, he said, a remark that reflected not just financial indifference, but deep personal resentment. Fans were outraged, launching petitions and social media campaigns demanding his reinstatement, but Disney held firm. Depp had become too controversial, and the studio, wary of public perception, chose to move on. The decision was a stark reminder of how quickly Hollywood can turn its back on even its most bankable stars when controversy becomes too great a liability. Despite all the conflicts, artistic disagreements, and personal battles, Depp remains one of the most fascinating figures in film.
If I jump, will I survive?
For every strained relationship, there are those who speak of his generosity, his brilliance, his unwavering commitment to his craft. Directors like Tim Burton have built entire cinematic worlds around him, and actors such as Helena Bonham Carter and Penelope Cruz continue to praise his talent and kindness. The contradictions of Johnny Depp, the celebrated performer, the difficult collaborator, the victim, the accused, have ensured that he remains as divisive as he is beloved. Hollywood may have distanced itself in recent years, but Depp's legacy is already cemented in film history. Whether he can reclaim his place in the industry remains an open question, but if there's one certainty, it's that his story is far from over.